Hi, hello. It is day one of this writing challenge, one prompt, five stories. And I haven't chosen my prompt yet. I am going to choose from my prompt menu, uh, but I want to add a little randomness to it, especially since I wrote all of these prompts. So I'm going to use some dice. I'm not going to pull from the entire menu. I'm going to roll for the four seasonal ones, and then like all the ones that I've created for. Um, oh, okay, that probably sounds way better. Um, yeah, so first we have to decide between the five. So I'm going to use a d6, and then uh, we'll have to figure out the dice from there. Obviously, on a 6, we will re-roll. This is the first d6 that I found in my treasure trove of dice. I'm going to record the roll on here. So 1 will be autumn, 2 will be winter, 3 will be spring, 4 will be summer, 5 will be my Instagram posts, and then 6 will be a re-roll. That is a 4. So that would be summer writing prompts, so all the ones that I just wrote. I almost feel like that's bad. Maybe I should do a D4 and keep summer prompts out of it. Should we do that? So autumn, winter, spring, and then my Instagram. Just because like those ones are all like fresh in my mind, so like I feel like I already like have ideas. It feels a little bit like cheating. We got a 4 again, but that does mean Instagram. So I need to figure out how many of those I have. And we'll cut out kind of like the most recent ones, the ones that I haven't moved over into this folder. I know you don't really know what that means, but I know what it means. There are 29 files in there. So if we use a 20 and a 10, that's 29 options, right? Because it can go 2 to 29. Except it'll actually be 1 to whatever. I think. Because we can get 2, which is like a 1. Right? And then we can get up to a 30. I don't know, I think a 30 ends up being a reroll, but that's fine. That's a 2. So that's just like the first prompt that I have. Which is crazy. Okay, interesting. So, okay, I know it says prompt 102, but that's where my prompts begin in that folder that I have because I changed some things in the very beginning. So this is technically, I think, like the 4th prompt that I ever posted on Instagram, but it reads, Ivy crawls at the dusty red brick walls between two women. They are deep in conversation about the interior and a little agitated from discussing whether they should enter or not. A surprising sound escapes the window above them on the 2nd floor. Why are they fighting, and what made that sound? Okay, so obviously I have decided that my sprints are going to be 10 minutes long. Now, you may recall from Inktober that I generally prefer to write things down when I'm doing this kind of idea generation, like, by hand. But for the purposes of this challenge, I think it will be easier, like, moving forward and also, like, more time efficient for me to type it up. So we're going to be doing these sprints typed. And I think that's all there is to say. So here we go, I suppose. Okay, so the first thing that's gonna happen is, just like in Inktober, I'm gonna end up writing down, like, a bunch of, like, quick jot notes and then move in, so this is probably going to end up setting me up for another story or two, in future sprints, but we'll still start the same way every time. Okay, here. What a perfect spot to end. Hey, I said stop making that sound. Okay. Okay, we'll do a quick little, I know like no editing, but like this doesn't count as editing. This is readability for later. Hello? I think it's getting too wet outside. It's very humid. It's 100% humidity outside right now. I will not be outside for much longer today. But I wanted to start this outside because I think writing outside or in a cafe or something other than like at your desk in your house is more fun. I don't know if this full read-through will make it into the video, but we'll do it. This way I get like my thoughts out right now about like everything, and we'll talk about the comment I made too. So this is not good. This is like quick, very first draft. Do not judge a finished project by what the hell I wrote today. Just putting that out there in case, you know, you feel like saying, that's trash, because I probably think that, or if I don't yet, I will later. The ivy on the bricks behind them crawls the way the shiver does down Jenny's spine. I don't think we should go in there. Why not? Well, because we don't know what's in there or even really where we are. You have no sense of adventure. Laura turns to walk from Jenny. Walk away from Jenny just as a clanging bell rings out from the window above them. She jumps. Still want to go in? It startled me, not scared me. Laura whips her head around to face Jenny again, daggers in her eyes. Well, I'll wait at the door then. Isn't this what we came for? To explore nature, not decrepit buildings that could be filled with mold, bats, rats, termites, and falling beans? Exploring is exploring. Laura stomped through the hip-high grass toward the next side of the building, clearly looking for a doorway. Laura followed close behind. Nope. Jenny followed close behind. They approach the corridor and peek around. The ground and wall just as covered in bright green vines and grass as the last. More windows, but no doors to be seen. Laura continues circling the building. As she gets about halfway across this wall, she comes across a trodden area of grass, creating a path out to a wooden structure about a foot off the ground. As Jenny catches up and looks down the path, she says, "We're not starting in the cellar. I thought you weren't coming in anyway." Well, you're not starting in the cellar. I see the ghost hunter in you is awakening. If I had any equipment and someone that knew what they were doing, I might feel a little better about exploring it, okay? Whatever. And with that, Laura sped down the trampled grass toward the wooden doors. As she approaches, she realizes there's a padlock. Damn it. See? No cellars. Fine. I'll just find a way down there from inside then. She smirks and heads off to the next corner of the red brick building. Around the next corner, who knows? There's definitely going to be a door, but I have to stop there. I did take just a quick note of a random thought that came to my mind is what if they make it all the way around this building and there is no door? Maybe that will be something for another story. I like to kind of keep, especially when I'm doing an idea generation sprint, I think taking note of those notes is good, but I do this when I'm writing regular stuff too. Just in case I decide to go a different way, maybe some of those side thoughts can be used in that different direction that I end up taking the story from my original plan. What else did I want to say about this? Oh, we should also choose my favorite line for the like Instagram posts and the shorts. What's my favorite line? I feel like it's either not that it's good, it needs to be like reworked just a little bit, but like I like the idea of like the ivy crawling around the same way that like a shiver down a spine does. There's another one. I don't know if I have a favorite line. Oh, I kind of like this one. Nature, not decrepit buildings that could be filled with mold, bats, rats, termites, and falling beams. Maybe that's the one that we use. Yeah, I think that's it. It is getting, I feel like it's getting moister and hotter as we go. Um, so I don't want to be outside too much longer. Uh, I'm not sure where this story is going. I'm not sure what other stories we're going to consider. I think I have like one other one like kind of like locked away. Um, but I think coming up with five is going to be difficult. I think that's a large number. Um, I'm not sure like yeah. Obviously, this will be percolating in the back of my brain over the next 5 days as we continue to write more stories. And so I'm curious to see how that affects what comes out. I'm not going to write anything down. I'm not, like, even if I have, like, ideas for things, I'm not going to write outside of my sprinting time. Um, because I feel like that's the thing. I'm allowed to let it percolate because I can't stop it, but I'm not allowed to take notes. I have to be able to remember. Um, and yeah, so I think that's it for today. And I'll be back for day two tomorrow. Probably end up writing the second idea that I already kind of have. Uh, might be inside because, like I said, it's disgusting outside and it's staying this way for a bit. We've got like a heat wave thing. We had a wicked storm last night. I don't know if like the storm was wicked here. Like I definitely rained, but there was a lot of thunder and lightning. Um, but yeah, like I said, 100% humidity this afternoon is going up to 33, feels like 46, which for the Fahrenheit people is like, I think 91 feels like 115 or something like that. Um, and as a reminder, I live in a place that gets to 40 below. So it's like, it's not hot for me. It's hot for me, okay? we have a very uncomfortable ends of our temperature. All right. See you tomorrow. Welcome to day two of the writing challenge to sprint to the second part of phase one. I don't feel like I need to say a whole lot to get us started on this. We're just gonna dive into the second sprint, and then we'll talk a bit about what I write about afterwards. Obviously, I'm in a very different spot from before. It is disgusting outside. I even have to go outside later. And I tried this morning. It's gross. So we're at my desktop, which is not my favorite place. But I need the camera and stuff set up for a meeting tomorrow, so I figured I would just go ahead and do that because I don't have any other recording that's happening. Okay. Yeah, okay, where's my timer? Here we go. You're pushing buttons. Don't push buttons! Oh, why is my timer not showing there? Oh, ee! Buddy! You gotta stop. No, you gotta stop, buddy. Oh, dude, why do you insist on being on the keyboard, my guy? No. You can be up here, but you can't push buttons. I'm writing, not you. Can't say that that was as good feeling as the first one. This was kind of like the other way that I thought this prompt could go, was kind of like hearing domestic violence happening. I think there's something here. Buddy, this is why I work outside. This is why I work outside. So you don't want love. I know you don't. You're trying to get food, but it's not food time, is it? Where are you going? No, stop it. I don't know what I was saying. I'm sure I can come up with other sounds. I don't think this is where that my thought was going. But those were kind of like the two things that first came to mind, was like the haunted house and then this domestic violence thing. Let me do a quick what the heck is going on here. Like some of these. Okay, I'll read it to you really quick. In case you didn't read it while I was writing, because actually I have no idea what this is going to look like in the video either. Did you hear that? Julia whispered. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Did you hear it or not? Well, I don't know if what I heard is what I think I heard. Another crash rings out from the window above their heads. Did you hear that? Yeah, that was definitely a plate breaking. One's an accident, a second one seems intentional. Muffled voices break through the red brick wall. Do we still go to the door? I mean, they're expecting us, so yes? The two women work their way cautiously up the driveway to the side door of their friend's house. Katie carries a casserole and Julia a bag with canned drinks. After taking a deep breath, Katie knocks. The voices cease and footsteps start toward the door. Where are you going? A deep voice yells, loud enough to make out what he's saying. I think guests are arriving. Shadow passes in front of the frosted door window. Oh, we can... The volume dies out and the women can't hear what he says next. The door swings open and a woman stands there smiling, a smile that doesn't evoke joy, but perhaps relief. Her eyes glisten with tears and her brow is wrinkled. Hi, ladies. Please come in. I just have a few things to do in the kitchen. Make yourselves at home. You know where the living room is. Please, let me take your things. She's not letting either woman get a word in edgewise. Is everything okay? Katie asks. Of course. The woman grabs the bag and the casserole and points down the hall. I'll be in just a second. They find their way down the hallway to a familiar living room. Upstairs, someone is stomping around, throwing things, maybe screaming into a pillow. Something is definitely not okay. Did you know he was angry like this? Julia whispers to... Oh good, the second cat has shown up. Yeah, so I think there's something here. I don't know that this is, like, the best story, but definitely something that I could, like, pull, an outline out of. From here, it will be interesting to see if I can come up with different enough... Yes, buddy, I know. Come here, Squeaky. Different enough stories that I feel like I've fulfilled the challenge. Obviously, it will continue to percolate in the back of my mind. I think there's opportunity to like have something seem like one thing and be another thing. And so I can still like use these two ideas and then it's actually something completely different. Yeah, this one didn't feel as good. I bet you my word count is way lower. Oh, it's not that much lower. It didn't help that this one decided to write some of his own words, zeros and plus signs, I guess, and also hit the, yeah, it wasn't that much lower. It just didn't, like, feel like I was, like, as into the sprint or as into, the idea. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll run with that idea of, like, what if there's no door? They're just, like, hearing from inside a doorless building. Or maybe I just run with the doorless idea and the cellar's the only way to get in day one sprint. I think I'll leave it at that. So, anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to day 3, sprint 3. I should have more pillow behind me. I need more pillow. Hold on. I just fold this. Will that be enough pillow? Hopefully the filters and things are filtering it out, but my partner is streaming downstairs playing games. And so you might hear his voice. Also, there's a whole lot of backlight going on. I do have a light in front of me, but it's not going to do much. But this is where I feel like writing, so this is where we're going to write. It's a little later in the day than I usually write, and also I'm not feeling the best. I got a bit of a headache, but the challenge must go on. Okay, I think without further ado, let's just get this sprint started. Yeah, I'm just ready to start. I think I have an idea ready to go for today. We'll see what happens. Alright. I have some things to say about this one. Okay, so this one I'm very unsure where it's going, because my original thought could still be the case. But I feel like this is definitely one of those ideas that could go a bajillion different ways, which is something that I really like about prompt writing. But is... Follow my shadow. But is, difficult for this particular challenge, because I don't want to, like, start in the same place again just to write a different story. I feel like I need to start in a different place, kind of thing. But really, like, the idea for this one was these two women are, for some reason, on the run, and one of them knows of this abandoned building that they can stay in for the night, kind of thing. My immediate thoughts go to on the run in, a zombie apocalypse, because of course that's where my mind is gonna go. But I think there are a bunch of different reasons why they could be on the run. I think the mention of the diner kind of like puts us in some sort of survival situation for sure, and kind of a widespread one. I realize that usually I've been reading to you what I've written, so let's go through this very squiggly line looking thing. Hurry up, it's getting dark. Pam waded through the thick grass, eyes on the horizon. Hey look, I told you it was around here. She pointed to a brick wall poking out from the tall grass. I hate lots of things about this already. Are you sure it's safe? Safer than being out in the open. And it's abandoned? Seemed like it. Seemed like it! Mary yelled. Keep your voice down. They approach the building, get up close to the wall, and stop. There are vines crawling all over it and a broken window above their heads. They stop and look behind them to be sure they haven't been followed. Which, of course, could be followed by zombies or by other people, and still could be other people in a zombie world anyways. Which way is the clanking of chains pours out the window. I hate pours, but couldn't use clanged again. Or chimed, or whatever. I thought you said it was abandoned. It is. I'm sure that was just the wind. Fuck. We should have stayed at the diner. Everyone is going to stop at the diner, all filled with hope of food left over. Idiots. Oh yeah, they're the idiots. We didn't stop for food, we stopped for shelter. She started walking toward the corner of the building. The door is on this side. Pam eased the door open with a foot, holding a stick above her head, ready to whack anything that came out. She held her finger to her mouth toward Mary, and then held her hand flat to tell her to wait. She eased her way into the shadows of the interior. "Psst," she whispered. She hissed. "Anyone here?" She waited, stick still held high. She left Mary holding the door as she walked in further. The low sun through the door the only illumination of this area. She took note of a hallway in front of her, and a door to either side, both closed. Suddenly, in a different... Anyways, she gently tries the knob to her right, finding it locked. As she reaches toward the left door, something clatters above her. Without thinking, she bolts for the door to the outside. So, there are a lot of questions to be answered here, because also we need to decide what the heck is upstairs. Like, I feel like I could come up with, like, 5 different stories from this prompt. So, I think what's going to be percolating in the back of my mind is, like, other ideas, but also other ways to start something similar to this that's different enough that I feel like I'm fulfilling my challenge. Let's find out our word count. 321 again. Strange. And then I didn't do this on camera last time. I forgot about it until like right after I turned the camera off, but I did choose a line. The line from the last one was, yeah, that was definitely a plate breaking. One's an accident. The second one seems intentional. So what line do I want to use as my favorite line from here? I kind of like that I used the tss. I don't know if that lands, and I also, like, hate how I've written everything that comes after it. I also don't know if whispered is right. Like, I feel like maybe we go like, tss, she hissed. Hey, anyone here? But anyways, that's for editing me. I like some, like, ideas here, but I don't think anything is super well written. I think everything is really poorly written, actually. Because, like, I love, like, the idea of, like, talking about, like, her being, like, but, like, I feel like it doesn't land in this sentence, you know? Maybe we just take this. Below sun through the door, the only illumination in this area. She took note of a hallway in front of her and a door to either side, both closed. I think that might be the most well-written sentence, which is kind of sad. But I suppose that's it. And it's easier than using my hand, so I will see you tomorrow. Welcome to day 4, or the 4th sprint of phase 1. I don't think I have anything to say. I feel like you understand what's going on here. I know that I had an idea for today, and I'm struggling to remember it, so we will see what happens once we actually hit that, that point. I'm gonna sit here for a second and see if I can remember what it was. I don't remember what it was, but I think I came up with another one. This is my morning coffee. I have a strange schedule where my morning coffee is usually made around 10, and then I take my like break from like 10 to like 10:30 to 10:45. It's a little later than that today, just because that's how it worked. Okay, but you don't care about that. Let's just get to writing. If I can open up the things I need to open up, that would be great. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have something here. Oh, I remembered. have to take a very quick note. Purple door. Okay, so I did remember kind of the idea that I had planned on. Let's do. Let's do this in the order that I should be doing it. Let's read it to you, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll pick a line. Why are we here? I just want to show you something. What kind of something could you possibly want to show me out in the middle of a field? You're freaking me out. I'm trying to be romantic, okay? Okay, fine. The two women continue walking through the dark forest. The sun peeks through where the trunks allow, but the trees are densely packed and the underbrush is alive and flush. I think I mean lush. Or something. The dirt trail is narrow and the leader drags the follower by their hand. Eventually they come to a clearing where the grass is high and filled with wildflowers. The setting sun sheds a golden light over the field. A worn-down brick building stands at the center of it. Forest continues on all sides of the plot, but there is enough room for fields and gardens surrounding the cottage. Here we are. We're not going in there, are we? Well, yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. A creepy building in the center of a surprisingly pleasant clearing in the middle of a creepy-ass forest. If it's not a witch's house now, it certainly used to be, and I will have nothing to do with messing up her shit. Martha tries to pull her hand from Dana's. Dana holds tighter. We absolutely are going to check it out. I've been here before. It's totally safe. Dana continues to pull Martha through the grass. Soon their feet find purchase on a stone walkway that leads up to a veranda. I really don't think we should go in there. Shut up. Dana's tone switches to something controlling. It no longer feels like a romantic picnic or surprise outdoor film. Martha starts looking for landmarks in the distance and details of the house. Nothing but trees around her. As they get closer to the house, she starts to notice little things. The grass clears and there is a garden filled with things she recognizes. Some obvious foodstuffs, flowers, and a huge plot of various shaped greens. An herb garden. Dana stomps up the wooden stairs. Martha notices that what she thought was ivy growing up the walls is actually something creepy. Come on, the entrance is around the corner. And so, as part of outlining, if this one makes it to the outlining stage, I'm gonna have to come up with a list of, like, a bunch of little things that she could possibly notice that would point to this being a witch's house. I don't know what direction the witch's house should go. Also, I realized that we didn't get to the point where, like, a strange sound comes from inside, but obviously we can continue to add that in. We just, like, didn't get to that point, I suppose. I don't know what the sound is. Because this also isn't quite the direction that I was planning on going, either. It was always going to be, like, this one person leading them to a place that they've been to before, and there was going to be something creepy about it. And the idea is that there's someone dangerous inside. Originally I was kind of thinking cult, but, like, maybe it is just, like, a witch. Again, like, I don't love, like, the evil witch thing. And so, like, we'll see how that actually goes. Maybe it's not a witch's house, like, maybe it's not a witch that lives there, but, like, that's, like, the idea that this person has about who would live there, and it's actually, like, a demon or something. I don't know, some sort of evil entity lives here. And perhaps they're, like, controlling Dana. And so, like, Dana is, like, either a thrall or is a worshiper of, or whatever. And so they're bringing Martha along as a sacrifice. Yeah, so we have one more sprint left. I feel like there has the idea of, like, where this building is has been the exact same every time, so I feel like I need to come up with, except for the one where it's, like, just, like, a random building, like, inside a town. I feel like I need to come up with a different location so that I really get something different. So we've done, like, inside a town and in, like, amongst long grass every other time. I don't know what the other location is. Maybe, like, by the water, or Um, I don't know. I'm thinking like I don't know. Like it feels like this building just like makes sense to be in like a secluded area because I guess like that's just like what my mind is primed for being like a spooky lover. Um yeah, I don't know. That might be yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. Also tomorrow I might write at a cafe for this. I haven't totally decided. I also like might just write at home. We're definitely going to a cafe to write and read and work or whatever tomorrow, just as a fun thing to do. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think that's it. So I will see you for the last sprint tomorrow. Hi, hello. It's moments later, but I realized that I didn't do the other two things that I'm supposed to do. We're supposed to find out how many heckin' words this is. I thought I wrote more. Uh, 372, and then I have to pick a line. Now, my computer is dying, so I have to do this quickly. I think I like this one. Dana continues to pull Martha through the grass. Soon their feet find purchase on a stone walkway that leads up to the veranda. I think that's the one. Okay, now I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to the final sprint of the challenge. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, so the fifth sprint, final sprint of the challenge to see what the heck we can do. I think I have a general character idea, at least, for what we're gonna do today. I wanted to, like, I was trying really hard to come up with something different. I do think a huge problem that I've had with this particular prompt is that it's like, it's really pushed me into like realistic. And what I mean by that is like, I kind of had like no like outlandish ideas. Like the most, I mean, we had zombies, but I'm always gonna think zombies. I'm always gonna try to throw zombies into something. But like certainly wasn't drawn to do anything like fantasy. I suppose we've had horror. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just wrong about this. Maybe I have kind of like spanned a couple of genres. I have. I'm saying crazy things. Uh, Pardon the fact that my hand is a ghost, or I don't know, it's a light. Uh, I'm outside. The sun is at the like perfect spot to just be like blasting me. But I think I have something that is a little different because I was getting a little bit worried about everything being a little too similar. It felt like a lot of the things I was doing was like someone like looking for shelter. Although, again, the more that I think about that, that's not really the case either. This one, in fact, might even be kind of similar to the second sprint, which is the one that I feel like is the most different in being that it is like very like contemporary. It's the domestic abuse one, or domestic violence one, which is like obviously different from the other ones. What was the first one? Oh yeah, the other three are kind of in the like haunted or I mean in the speculative fiction, I suppose, because they were like horror-ish or yeah, basically just horror-ish. Uh, so this one is going to be more in line with the second one, different enough from it. Um, I think the difference, I mean, there's still danger, but I don't know, it feels different. You'll see what I mean when we get to it. So I think I'm just going to, I mean, I talked more than I needed to, I think is what just happened. So let's hit start. So, different idea, different kind of characters. Uh, oh my gosh, I thought this would end. It's still going. I'll read it. I'll read it. We'll do word count. We'll pick a line and then we'll talk about it. This time we're going to actually do it. By the fifth day, I know it's the last one. We're going to do it in that order. We should wait for backup. No, we shouldn't. They'll take too long. We don't know what will happen in that time. What will happen to us in that time. We're supposed to put our lives on the line. We're supposed to stay as safe as we can so we can keep helping people, though. The sound of metal on tile crashes through the window. I'm not waiting. Janine pulls her gun from its holster and starts toward the corner of the building. You can wait for backup if you want. Fuck. Lila whispers and pulls her gun from its holster, following closely behind. When they reach the corner, Janine takes a second to peek around it, gun pointed toward the ground. Clear. The door is a few stairs up. There's a window between here and there, so keep low. They crouch walk toward the door. Janine nudges it with her foot. It's closed. She reaches for the knob, then looks at Lila. She points her chin to the other side, and Janine adjusts their positioning. Lila reaches for the handle, turns it, but doesn't open it. She makes eye contact. Janine nods, and then she pushes the door open, letting Janine in first, gun pointing inward. It's a small mudroom with dirty boots on the ground, coats and sweaters haphazardly tossed, and fast food garbage scattered on the floor. Watching her step, careful not to rustle anything, she makes her way into the room. The door leading to the rest of the house is open, and she approaches it cautiously. Another crash sounds from inside. Inside the door is a short hallway with an arch on the left leading to a kitchen. Janine can see dishes piled up in the sink as she gets closer. That's not where the sound is coming from. The room is clear. She looks back to Lila and throws her head toward the arch. Lila enters to see an arch at the far end. They know they have to split up. Lila begins through the kitchen as Janine continues down the corridor. The hallway ends in a living room with a hallway on the right side. Lila emerges from the kitchen on the left side of the room. That feels, obviously, there's some good bits and some bits that need some work. There's some obvious grammar mistakes, just like there happen with all of them. So let's see what that word count is. We hit 376. And I'm between, it's a small mudroom with dirty boots on the ground, coats and sweaters haphazardly tossed, and fast food garbage scattered on the ground, or on the floor. And that's not where the sound is coming from. The room is clear. I think this one's probably better. Okay, so I am unsure what's in the house. There were a couple things that have crossed my mind. I think where I'm leaning toward is there's someone being held hostage of some sort. I don't know if it's a kid or if it's an adult, if it's like many people, if it's one person, like what the reasoning is that they're being held in there. But obviously this is like two cops that show up somewhere. They realize it's dangerous to go inside. The fight is over whether or not they should go in before their backup shows up. And of course, one of them is like, I'm going in, and the partner is like, I can't let them go in alone, kind of thing. So I think it's very tropey. But it's an interesting place that the prompt eventually took me to. I'm gonna like let the idea of how the prompt has kind of like mulled around in my brain over the past 5 days. I'm gonna let myself continue thinking about the process, but I think it was harder than I thought it was. Than I thought it was going to be, and also I think it really depends on the prompt that you're using. I feel like if I would have gotten like one of my like 3 things prompts, I feel like those have like a lot more breadth. It's possible that I'll end up doing this challenge again, or doing maybe just like phase 1 again, and seeing like other prompts and like how different I can get them. Maybe like choose 5 genres and like restrict myself even further by doing that, by being like, you have to write like a fantasy, a sci-fi, a horror, a historical, and a romance? I don't know, something like that. I feel like we didn't really do a romance this time, which is fine because the last prompt challenge that I did in Inktober last year, I wrote like a weird amount of things that were kind of romancy. So, there's not like no romance here, but it's certainly none of them are like the genre of romance. They're just like our couples, um, or the possibility of couples. Yeah. I think that's it. You'll probably like I'll probably hop back in to record kind of like a post-mortem on the first phase and how I feel about all of the like different things that I came up with. But for now, um, that's that. So I suppose I might be back tomorrow. Otherwise, I will just be editing and throwing this up. We'll see what happens. Bye! Okay, we're back with kind of just a summing up of my experience of phase one. Let's get my thoughts in order. Okay, so first things first, this was definitely harder than I expected, and I think it has a lot to do with the prompt that I ended up using. Kind of because it contained like a lot of details. It told me, you know, there were two women, they were arguing, it told me where they were, it told me, it gave me like a disruption even, so it is like a great way to start a story, but there isn't like a whole lot of room for imagination, unlike some other types of prompts like start with a sentence or these three things, which are kind of the my two favorite types of prompts that I create. Now, that being said, as I've kind of like sat with and thought about the experience, I have realized a couple of like very different ways that I could have gone. One of the biggest, there's two big ones. Is the first one has to do with character and kind of their relationship to each other. In every single one of the sprints that I did, oh my gosh, in every single one of the sprints that I did, the two women clearly knew each other and like had some sort of relationship already. So like, why not strangers? Strangers can argue. And then the other thing was, I realized that I could have really messed with the POV. We didn't have to be zoomed in on these two women. We could have been somebody seeing these two women. So I think we could have gotten a lot weirder with it. And maybe that would have happened if if I had to write more than 5, and also if I had sat down to kind of consider the elements that I could change, because that's what it came down to. I was writing up a Substack post about this, and I kind of like looked at the different elements of the story and whether or not they were different enough to fulfill this. Oh my gosh, the rain's getting crazy. Maybe I should close that. Nah, it'll be fine. I forget what I was saying. Oh, I was looking to see like if they were different enough, and really the point where they seem to actually be different enough is plot, but there's not a whole lot of variance in character, and there's not a whole lot of variance in setting. If nothing else, this first attempt has made me want to try again with a different type of prompt, maybe writing more, maybe restricting myself in like some other way. I just think it's like a really fun exercise and experiment, and it reminds me of another creative exercise, which is like the list of 100. And that's basically like you sit down and until you've come up with 100 ideas in whatever topic you're trying to like brainstorm for, like you don't get up. Because like the first 10, 20, maybe even 50 are like the obvious things that everybody's probably going to write down, but you kind of like force your brain to start really thinking out of the box. And so I feel like doing that with phase one, like doing like 10 sprints. 100 sprints is too many sprints. Uh, um, I would not go higher than probably like 28, and that sounds like way too many. Honestly, 10 sounds like too many. 5 feels like a good number. But I am curious to see like how much the prompt changes things, and then also just like having experienced it and then analyzed kind of like what came out, how much that will change my like next experience doing probably just phase one, and then just like running with whatever stories like I actually enjoy from it. Kind of like with Inktober, I've kind of like decided on a couple of stories that I'd like to continue with, and then most of them I'm not going to touch again. An interesting thing could also be to kind of like put these two exercises together and like pick a prompt and then just like sit there and write like rather than sprinting, just like write down kind of like one line gists of stories up to like maybe 100 stories. I don't know if I would make it up to that, but like setting a general goal for that, and then maybe also setting a timer so that I don't like hate myself. But like mixing those two exercises together could maybe be a lot of fun too. Um, yeah, maybe. In the end, I do think I came up with stories that were different enough to kind of fulfill the challenge. But you tell me, you've seen the stories, you know the general idea. Do you think that these stories are different enough from each other that I wrote 5 different stories, and kind of like explain your thoughts on this? Uh, but that's it for now. We're moving on to the next phase. I have already started it, but I'm not giving you any inkling into what stories have moved on to the outlining phase. Hopefully, you're enjoying watching me do this challenge as well as maybe joining the challenge yourself. If you are doing this challenge, or maybe just phase one, let me know how it's going. Um, and other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun, had a blast. Catch you next time. Bye. I bet you my mic sounds like trash right now. Maybe there isn't another one. Also, this is the wrong peak. I'm upset with myself. I knew I was going to forget. Iggy, you're such a pretty cat. There we go. But we didn't get all your cuteness in it, did we? Okay, oh my gosh, I don't know how to stop it now. I got rid of it.